What's going on, everybody? My name is Fliptriq, here with DMC and Mike Guy. Bringing you episode number 6 of the Trophy Chasers podcast. So, we've got a lot to talk about today. A lot of new releases, a lot of games we've been playing. Tons of news, all kind of just showed up over the past couple days. So, I'm glad we're doing the show on a Thursday. Otherwise, we wouldn't have much to talk about. How are you both doing today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Engrossed into in Thief over the last few days, but doing great, man.
Yeah, good to hear. What about you, Mike Guy? How's that Tails going?
For me, any week we get a Tails game is an outstanding week for me, and it's I'm there hasn't been enough hours in the day yet to fully enjoy it.
Yeah. Before we get started in games, I don't know when this got announced, but I wanted to get your opinion on this. Um, have you seen the new cast for the Fantastic Four reboot?
I have.
How do you feel about that?
It's um I'm on the fence of it. Like, I don't trust Mark Miller, who's kind of acting as Fox's architect of a shared universe that they're doing. I really don't trust him in that regards. The
Whoa, that's a
the
bold statement, Mike Guy.
that is, and I can, and I'll explain that in a minute. But
So,
the casting wise, I think Michael B. Jordan, a good young actor, I really have no problem with him being cast as the Human Torch, and I know that's getting a
Really?
lot of flack.
But it doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense. I
so
think I think the entire cast is way too young, and
well,
how are they gonna pull off Susan Storm being some young white girl and Johnny Storm being black, and their brother and
well,
sister? How's that gonna work?
that's got to be something that they've got to explain, and I think they're going to go more of the Ultimate Comics route with it, as far as and I believe I'm pretty sure Mark Miller had a run on the Ultimates Fantastic Four. I may be wrong on that, but the like I like I like the cast. I like what they're looking to do by going they're going younger because I guess that's the way of the story. I'm interested in seeing what they do with the villain because there's been rumors of a female Doctor Doom.
I heard about
Like,
that too.
if
Yeah.
yeah, like if they explain it story wise, and they're not just like, if the Human Torch isn't black just to be black, then I'm fine with it. If this is the best guy for the job that they thought they could get, I have no problem with it. Like, I'll liken back to Daredevil when
let me
that.
jump in. Let me jump in. Without question, he's in the movie because he's black, and they casted him because he's black just to make him black. So I'm going to put that out there. Do I have a problem with it? No, as long as it's explained. I think most fans have issues with this primarily because it breaks the canon, right? And the fact that we have siblings that's now apparently going to be adopted siblings, and or they're going to again break the canon of the character arcs. Um, is the Human Torch Spider-Man? Is he Superman? Is he Batman? No, right? So they could probably make it fly, but again, this is one of those alter.
I
I
hope they can
guess
make him
I guess I
fly.
have to believe it's an alternate universe type of deal, right? And let me just say this one last piece. I trust Mark Miller primarily because the guy's a fantastic writer, man. All of his comic books are excellent, and that's so. You still haven't explained to me why you don't trust him, man.
I'll explain it in 1 second here, but
Okay.
see, here's the thing: is when it comes to a comic book movie, we want the best story to be told possible with the best people on screen that can tell that story. You look at how the films that and Cody, I agree that there needs to be some explanation on why you have a brother and sister that are interracial. Uh, you know, that needs to be in there. But as long as they explain it, and it's not just like, well, we made like, if you go back to the original Fantastic Four movies that came out in '05 and '07, they made Alicia Masters. She was someone that was they made black just to be black, to include some racial diversity in their characters. But I go back a little bit further to the Daredevil movie. Michael Clark Duncan was a good choice for the casting of the Kingpin because he physically fit that role instead of putting some white guy in a fat suit. I feel, and if there's got to be with the Human Torch and Sue Storm, they've got to explain why you have the interracial siblings, and as long as it makes sense, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and we don't know if it's going to make sense. I have to trust that it does, but the big pink elephant in the room is this: most of these characters were created in the '60s and early '70s, right? At that time, we wasn't a diverse nation, nor were we enlightened from that perspective. So I get the idea of infusing some of these superheroes with color, right? Otherwise, we are only being saved by, by Caucasians, and that's it's fine and dandy. I got tons and tons of comic books, big comic book fan. Um, uh, it just better make sense.
Yeah.
I think you don't rattle the cage unless it makes sense, and I don't know how they can make this make sense unless they tag it as a alternate universe type of story, and I don't think you're going to do that.
Yeah. I've always been okay with all the previous, like you're talking about the Kingpin being black. I was okay with that. The only problem I have here is we have two siblings, one's white, one's black. Why? That's what bothers me. And then I don't like the fact that they're all way younger than they should be. It doesn't make that kind of rubs me the wrong way too. Maybe it's just because it's taking place earlier in the story. I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, that part of being younger, I understand, because they're going, I think, more of the Ultimates route with it, with establishing a younger group. Because in the Ultimates comics, Reed Richards was, I think, just out of high school when he went to Four Freedoms Plaza to do like his research and things like that. As far as that 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 canon goes. So there's so much that they can draw on. To answer your question, D and C, why I'm not a big fan of Mark Miller, it's because I feel like he's the new age Frank Miller. If you've read, especially with his creator-owned work, a lot of his stuff is the same. And it's like Frank Miller. If you read All-Star Batman and Robin, Batman feels like he has the same voice as Marv. And whereas you go back and read Sin City when it first came out, a fantastic graphic novel. I have no complaints against it. No complaints with his the Dark Knight series. I think those are phenomenal books. But you read Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin, Batman has the same voice as Marv does. He doesn't feel like Batman. I translate that to Mark Miller. I feel like everything Miller's done that's creator owned has the same voice and tone as since One It. One It is a phenomenal read. I think they did a pretty good adaptation to it, but I think a lot of his stuff since then has had a very similar tone, and he stays within this same tone. I know I'm using repeating tone several times. I think his work on the Ultimates, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and in my opinion is probably Mark Miller's some of his best work. And I just think after that it's too much of a recycling on, that's my opinion of it.
Okay. Well, we got so much to talk about in news and games, so we'll just leave that there. I don't even want to address the fact that Jesse Eisenberg's playing Lex Luthor in the Batman movie. We don't... That rubs me the wrong way too. I probably the worst choice for that, but anyway.
Well, all we need is Michael Cera to play the Joker, and who's the other guy that's always with them? Jonah Hill to play the Penguin.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. Anyway.
That concludes our comic book movie section.
To the games.
Before we broke the internet in half.
So, lots of news to talk about. Like I said, most of this just surfaced over the past couple days. After we finish up our show, we're gonna open up to callers. We've got a few questions that were submitted over Twitter. You guys can always do that anytime throughout the week. If you want to hop over to if you watch it on YouTube, or if you want to ask a question on Twitter, you can always do so, and we'll address it the next week. So we've got a few there. like I said earlier, we have a few giveaways planned. We've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1 and 2 to give away for the PS3. We've got some Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 posters to give away. DMC is going to throw in a copy of Thief for the PS4, so lots of prizes. And next week we're doing South Park, so probably have a South Park giveaway next week.
Yep.
So, jump into the news. First topic, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. I guess they heard everyone's cries of agony with as far as pricing goes. Finally lowered the price. So now the PS3 and Xbox 360 digital downloads $19.99. Everything else is $29.99. So all physical copies and the digital of next gen. Do we still call it next gen? I don't know what to call this. I don't know how to easily differentiate the two, but you know what I'm talking about. The Xbox One, PS4
Current
digital
gen, last gen. Right?
I guess so. I don't know. I still haven't broke the habit. I also did want to briefly touch on the Xbox One announcement that came out. The Twitch streaming app is finally coming out for the Xbox One. It's coming out the same day as Titanfall. So imagine March 11th, we'll have tons and tons of issues on Twitch. The only reason I really wanted to bring this up was I was thinking about it. The Xbox One has the HDMI input, so you can actually play your PS3 or your 360 or even your PS4 through your Xbox One. So I'm wondering if they'll actually let you stream any console from the Xbox One, or if it's going to be restricted to just Xbox One games, and they weren't very specific about that. But I wouldn't see why that would be an issue, but I don't know if Microsoft would allow that to happen. It'd be interesting if they did. I think that'd be a pretty big game changer. Finally have a foot in the right direction for Microsoft if they do allow that. So, okay. Next up, we've got the Batman Arkham Origins DLC. We just got announced. It's called Cold Heart. Wasn't expecting them to do any single player DLC. I thought that they said that they weren't. I don't know if I heard that wrong when the game first came out, but Cold Heart comes out April 22nd. They said it's going to detail Mr. Freeze's origin story. So, I don't know if I'm going to go back to Arkham Origins. I didn't really enjoy it too much. So,
I'm not.
Huge Batman
I'm not
fan.
going
I've
back
never really
to it
cared
because
about
I never
Mr.
went to it
Freeze.
the first time.
Oh, you
Yeah.
skipped it? Okay.
I skipped it.
It's, unless they were saying they were going to fix the game, then it might be worth, a revisit to Arkham, but not at the moment.
Yeah. We also have the Final Fantasy XIV enters the PlayStation 4 beta that's going on right now. You can actually download it off the PlayStation 4 store. It actually started last week. I meant to talk about it last week, but I forgot. But that is still currently going on. If you want to upgrade from PS3 to PS4, that starts on April 11th. And once you do go make the jump, you aren't able to go back. So you can continue your subscription that you have on the PS3 right now, upgrade it to PS4, but you won't be able to play on both consoles, only one or the other. And in the beta right now, you can only level up to level 20. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a character wipe at the end of this, unlike they did the first time around with the beta. You guys, did you ever check out Final Fantasy XIV? I played way too much of it and wasted way too much time. I did not like it.
Let me jump in. I think Mike is the expert on this, but I dove into the beta last week, over the weekend, and I probably spent a straight 8 hours into it. I mean, I went to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I loved it. It was immersive. It was my first MMO, and tons of people was running around. And then I realized the only freaking thing I'm doing is going to fetch things and kill monsters to bring back things.
Welcome to MMOs.
And then I stopped. Well, if that's what MMOs are, then gosh dog it, because I just went to bed and I just felt unfulfilled. So I won't be picking up Final Fantasy 14. I just hope to goodness that that's not all it is.
Once you get to that's basically all it is until you hit your level cap, which I think is 30 in that game. Then you go into bigger groups. I think groups of 8, and they might have added 16. I don't remember if they ever did that or not. You go into like dungeons and fight big bosses, and usually they're pretty hard. So the rating, when I played the game, the rating wasn't really existent there. It was pretty bad, but they've expanded it since then. So, and now they've added PvP. So they've done a lot of things that I've heard have been good. I lost interest my first time around, so I'm probably not going back to it.
Well, you know what? So I can't say this. I did really enjoy the events where we got together and we killed the big giant beetle. Those things are awesome. So, my first
The
true
Fates,
dive into mass MMOs is going to be Destiny, and
yeah.
pretty psyched about that. So hopefully that changes my perspective.
Well, Destiny I think is gonna be a lot more like Defiance, where it's not really a true MMO. The only reason it's called an MMO is because you're playing with lots of people at the same time. I don't think it'll have the same the traditional MMO combat style. I don't think it's gonna surface in Destiny.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty good. Dynasty Warriors Gundam Warriors is coming to PS3. I guess that's been out in Japan for a while, so we have a Gundam Dynasty Warriors. It comes out this summer. And Mike Guy, you're excited for this.
Oh, you better believe it. As being a huge Dynasty Warriors fan and an even bigger Gundam fan, I'm so excited for this to come out. I've actually been rewatching Gundam Wing recently, and as I've been gaming this week, so
Yeah.
as a nice little precursor to the new Dynasty Warriors Gundam games. So really excited about that.
So this is a is this in the same tradition as Luffy One Piece?
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's just like a Dynasty Warriors game, the
Sure.
only difference is it's got it has characters from Gundams. You use one of the mobile suits, one of the various mobile suits from one of the 30+ year history of the franchise.
I got one question for you, Mike. Is there a Gundam suit that looks like Labu? Because I want to run to a whole bunch of other ships, and I want all of them to scream Labu and run away, just like old school Dynasty Warrior games.
And the last one, I believe they threw a non-canon Gundam suit in there that was supposed to be kind of a callback to the Dynasty Warriors games, I'm pretty sure. But I thought you were going to ask, do I prefer Char Aznable or Zex Marquise? And I would say Zex Marquise all day long.
It's just old school, man.
This is all just way over my head. Yeah.
I could start quoting some stuff from Gundam Wing, but
It's my PS2 days, man. I used to play that thing forever, man. Dynasty Warriors all day long.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm not playing that one. I'm not going to buy that one. I gotta, unless it's just super awesome. You gotta let me know.
I'm biased when it comes to a Dynasty Warriors game, especially when you throw Gundam in there. It could be
right up your alley.
It could be the worst thing in the world, and I've got rose-colored glasses on while I'm playing it.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah. Looks like we got quite a bit of hype for Destiny in the chat. It'd be cool if when the game finally comes out, if we could start our own Trophy Chasers podcast guild. That'd be pretty cool.
At least for this, whenever that finally comes out.
What was that? You broke up a little bit.
The Destiny beta. That
yeah.
I know it's been pushed back since the game was originally since they originally announced doing the beta with the pre-order, but it'll just be nice when that comes out so we can finally get our hands on it to see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I think is the most exciting story that just came out, I think it actually just got announced this morning. Walking Dead Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, 5 days away. Comes out on Tuesday for PC and PS3. No word on Xbox 360 or iOS, but looks like they're not taking the 4-month break that they took for The Wolf Among Us. So that is very exciting. I cannot wait. Hopefully we see some characters from 400 Days show up. I'm still curious on why 400 Days was even a thing. But I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too excited for that, man. I when you mentioned that, I kind of jumped inside because yeah, that probably, I still think about the ending of The Walking Dead season 1 on my Vita, and so yeah, really looking forward to kicking behind with with the baddest 9-year-old little girl in the world. So
Yes.
really hyped.
Yeah. Clementine's a fantastic character. A couple days ago, they announced Dead Nation was coming to PS4. It was spotted on some site, I think,
Yep.
saying it was coming to PS4. And then today they announced the March PlayStation Plus list, and Dead Nation's on there. So it comes out March 4th. We get Dead Nation for PS4. Have you guys ever played it before on PS3? It's made by Housemarque, the same
No.
guys who did Resogun.
I played it.
You have? I've heard it's really good, but I've never actually played it myself, so I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. And on the PS4, they added something called Broadcast Plus mode, which is very similar to what we talked about last week with Daylight. They said viewers, if you're live streaming on the PS4 Twitch app, viewers are able to vote on whether or not you get both like perks or minuses throughout your game. Like they can send. The viewers can send like hordes of zombies into your game. They can take away your ability to sprint, or they can send you ammo crates, power up your weapons, all kinds of cool stuff like that, just based on
Cool.
specific Twitch commands. And then another feature is if they're doing like negative things to you and you can overcome it, the zombies will show up named after your Twitch viewers. So looking forward to that. We get Justin in here, get some headshots on him, teabagging. We've got the 360 no scope for you. Ready to take you guys out whenever we get into that. I'm very much looking forward to it. So March 4th is going to be pretty busy. We've got South Park, Walking Dead, now Dead Nation. Just lots of what I thought was going to be a pretty barren week. Just all on South Park. We've got quite a bit coming out now. Anyway, the rest of the stuff on March's PlayStation Plus list. Like I said, Dead Nation for PS4. PS3, we've got Tomb Raider, Thomas Was Alone, which is a very, very good platformer. Very funny throughout the entire thing. Lone Survivor Director's Cut, which is like an 8-bit indie survival horror game that I almost picked up when they did the Black Friday sale. On Vita, Unit 13, and on PSP, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. So I started I started Unit 13.
Folks to co-op.
Yes, I started
So
Unit
what happened?
13. I started it when the Vita first came out. Never got around to platinuming it. I got a few of the, I don't even remember what they're called, like the harder missions where you like have to fight a certain boss and you can only get it unlocked if you get all the stars, or your friends can send you that mission. I have like the last 3
Yes.
of those finished, just because they got shared through Nier. So
Yeah.
I've got the hard stuff out of the way. I just have to go finish the game. So looking
I don't
forward to
have the hard
finishing it.
stuff out the way. I just recall it being such a solid game, and it got incredibly bashed. It literally was at the time the best shooter in handheld. Period. And I remember it just getting crushed by the media as if it was going up against current gen at the time PS3 and 360. But really, really, really cool game, and I guess it's more fun with people to play with. And it was very, very little folks to play with at the time, so I'm probably going to jump back on it. I still have the cartridge.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I need to go back and finish it. It was a very, very good game. Really short missions, jump in, jump out, perfect for the Vita.
Yep.
So, and then Monster Hunter. I've never played a Monster Hunter game. Apparently, I like that style of game because Soul Sacrifice and that Tukaiden are apparently Monster Hunter clones. So I'm probably going to check out this PSP game, even though I've never downloaded a PSP game before. We're probably going to check out Monster Hunter, see what it's about. And then, I know this is way down the line, but in April, we've got Secret Ponchos is coming to PS4. That'll be the PlayStation Plus game for April. It's like an indie game that actually got developed like 2 or 3 years ago, and they've just been polishing it this whole time. It actually looks pretty cool. It's like an online only multiplayer game. I think you play most of the time it's like 1v1, it's like Western shootouts. But there's different character classes. They each have different weapons and different movement abilities. But basically, just a Western shootout. It looks pretty cool. Secret Ponchos. There should be some gameplay videos. The one I watched was on YouTube through IGN. It looks like it'll be fun. So, we also have Outlast DLC coming in April. That's called Whistleblower. follows. This takes place before and after the main campaign of the game. You play as a different person. I think it was like a journalist from Boulder, and he's trying to investigate what's going on, and then what happened. So that comes out in April.
Unless they can make me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, unless they can make me play as Superman, I'm not playing that, man. Gosh, dog it. They can release the best DLC in the world, and I need about 25,000 watt light bulbs to play that game. But go ahead, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead, Flip.
Oh, that's fine. Lego The Hobbit also got a release date, April 8th. So we got the next Lego game coming up pretty quickly.
I'm getting that. I will play that.
You're gonna get that one?
This will be my first Lego game that I plan to play and complete. So, hooray for Hobbits!
Yeah, this looks like a good one. The cover art, I've never really cared about cover art for any game, but the cover art for the Lego The Hobbit actually looks really cool. I was really impressed with the way it looked. You haven't seen it? You should go check that out.
I gotta look for it. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
I thought it was very cool looking. Awesome Knots is coming to PS4 in March. I don't have an exact date. It is a side-scroller 2D MOBA. I played it on the PS3 when it first came out and actually played it way too much. I liked it a lot. So it's very, very good. Trophies are kind of hard, but I was ranked like 4th in the world for a long time on the leaderboards. I played that game a lot. I really, really liked it. I'm really terrible at MOBAs. I'm awful at League of Legends, but Awesome Knots, I don't know. Take a game of any genre, make it look retro, side scroll it, and you've got my attention. That seems to be what's going on lately. So, either of you check Awesome Knots out? Do you have any idea what that is?
What's that now? One more time?
It's called Awesome Knots.
Oh yeah. I played Awesome Knots on the PS3.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay.
But I don't remember it, so that's a problem all of itself. So
Okay.
I'll look at it again once it comes out on the PS4. But I have it. I actually have it in my purchased games. Maybe I'll re-download it and prep myself.
Yeah. So we get down some MOBA action in March. Maybe we could do one of the community gaming nights with that, which is something we need to keep doing. I heard you guys played Payday without me. You got people from the stream. You all grouped together and we're doing heists, and then I heard about it the next day. I was very disappointed.
Hey, let's do it again, man. Let's do it. I actually liked Payday. It's a thorn in my guy's side, but you know what? It's nothing like breaking the law with friends. So.
Yeah, it's what was it?
Lego CSI.
The Lego guy and MC Pants were playing some Payday the other, and they kept bringing up CSI.
They know your weakness.
They do, but we pulled off some pretty good heists. I think we all went up about 4 or 5 levels when we played.
That's awesome.
Nice. I'm still level 1 because you guys don't want to play with me.
I think I'm still stuck on whatever level I was last week. All right, Flip, we got to catch up to them, man. Right now, they're becoming professional robbers, and we're still amateurs. So I got to jump back on Payday. I can't have that.
I haven't even left the safe house.
What?
I was patiently waiting for you guys. You just behind my back.
We're loading up our stash of money so we can exit the United States. Fortunately, you don't have enough. Let's jump on it again, man. I'm ready.
All right. And if we haven't talked about Bioshock Infinite enough in the show, it seems like we talk about this every single week. More news on that came out. Apparently, episode 2, which comes out March 25th. I'm pretty sure that's the date. Is adding what they're calling 1998 mode, which is supposed to be harder than 1999 mode. It forces Elizabeth to only use non-lethal weapons. So they said while they're designing the game and letting people test it out, that a lot of people are trying to go through the game stealth. So they decided to add an additional difficulty, add the modifier to where you can only use non-lethal weapons and you have to play it stealth. So,
is that okay? That's a DLC. It's an optional download or an optional difficulty level, right? Because I still haven't platinum it yet, and I plan to jump on it. just want to make sure I'm not setting myself up for failure if they're going to push this.
Well, this is only for this DLC episode. I think it'd
Okay,
be.
so it's not required for the plat, but it is going to include additional trophies.
We haven't seen the trophy list, so I don't know. I'd imagine, but I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'm cool with that. As long as they don't jack up my my ability to plat that thing in 20 hours, I'm okay.
No, I don't think you'd be able to even get. You wouldn't be able to play BioShock Infinite, the original campaign, at all without killing. So this is just strictly for the DLC where you play as Elizabeth and go back to Rapture. All right, and before we start the show, you're saying something about Santa Monica. Do you want to go over that? Because I don't know the specifics on that. I didn't see that story.
Yeah, yeah. Just real briefly. So Sony's doing this massive restructuring. The plan for the fiscal year is to lay off 5,000 people. They're doing this through several different ways. One, a massive across the board layoff, and it hit Sony's Santa Monica Studios, the studio that brings you God of War and The Order, as well. Apparently, or at least the rumor is that there was a new IP in development that got canceled, and as a result, 50 people from that development studio got laid off. But my guy also clarified that Sony hasn't officially said that the game or the new IP was canceled. So that's good news. I think they've been working on it. A lot of assets on the table. Pretty sure they don't want that to be on the floor. In addition to that, there were 20 of, I believe, 40 or 60 different US-based Sony stores that were closed as well. All lesser markets. We still have one in the major Pentagon City in DC. And lastly, you guys probably all know this already. Sony's PC brand, Vaio, I keep on screwing up that name. Vaio, yeah. They also sold that as well. So this is their overall restructuring effort to make them a little bit more lean in their efforts to sound profitability for the next fiscal year. It always sucks though from our perspective when it impacts gaming studios and no one likes to be laid off. I've been there a couple times, so yeah. Hopefully they land on their feet. Matter of fact, I think even Microsoft, I believe, is courting. There's a rumor out there courting and picking up some of the folks, so that's good news.
Yeah, it's always a shame to hear another studio suffering layoffs. We just had to talk about Irrational doing it last week.
Just kind of like what DMC was saying, listening to a podcast I listened to the other day, they kind of talked about it, and to Cody's point, that like they were just like Santa Monica Studios was just advertising, like hiring some people, and as they kind of put it, these things happen, with it, like DMC said, with the whole end of the fiscal year coming up, they got to do their budgets, they got to do that stuff, so it's it happens, unfortunately. We don't know yet exactly how it's going to affect us, or if the staff they let go of or people that don't have the expertise in what they're looking to make or what they're making. We, like, from the outside looking in, we can only speculate on the information given to us and hope it like, from what I understood, everyone got like severance packages and whatnot. So
yeah. They're going to do it. They're going to do it right. And typically, when it comes to layoffs, and I've been on both sides of layoff architecture, and it's a company's perspective to again lean off budgetary concerns, but also they cut off fat. They're never going to get rid of folks in that's high production value. But I'm not saying that these folks were lackeys. I'm pretty sure they're absolutely talented. And again, I hope everybody lands on their feet.
Just let's keep our fingers crossed. Naughty Dog forever remains untouchable.
Well, they make a little bit too much money as a studio, I think. Well, they came out with a statement on a high note, guys, and it was a little depressing here. A Twitch a couple days ago that said that Sony essentially said that no one tells Naughty Dog what to write or produce except for Naughty Dog, which I think is pretty awesome, right? How much autonomy does a development team actually need? And apparently all of it when it comes to Naughty Dog. I think that's good stuff.
When you keep delivering,
I trust those guys so much.
Yeah. Well, when they keep knocking out of the ballpark, I think Sony recognizes that and just let them do whatever they want. So
Yeah, right.
yeah. All right. Well, we got there all the news. There's a lot. So as far as new releases for the week, we've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 on PS3, Thief, PS3 and PS4, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, PS3. That came out, it was like 16 years ago on the GameCube, is that right?
Yeah, in 2004 in the U.S.
No, so 10 years ago. Okay. I thought it was longer than that. And Rambo came out in Europe last week, so I'm very curious to know how that is. I haven't seen anything about it.
Importing that game, so close to importing that game. So I ended up cheating, right? And I listened to a little 10-minute little game review of that. And one of the things that was said about the game, because it's a sappy, stupid movie-based game where I think most of the voice acting comes directly out of the actual movie, right? How awesome is that? Here's the issue. The game apparently is quirky awesome all the way through until the end. The reviewer said there's this incredible difficulty spike at the very end of the game. It almost made him rage quit. I went through the same thing last week with Brave. It just scared the bejesus out of me, and I don't want to play it now because if I go through that, I might just bang my head through the television screen. So, but yeah, I probably can't resist it. I still get it.
You have to let me know how it is when you do get it. So, also digitally, we got Magus on the PS3, which I cannot wait to talk about here very soon, and Basement Crawl on the PS4, which is what looks to be like a Bomberman clone. So, haven't checked that one out. I don't know. It's only online multiplayer, so I don't know if I'll actually get around to it. I didn't see any new demos. Didn't see any add-ons or any DLC that came out. There were some Lightning Returns. I guess there was some add-ons. There was the Lightning Returns character package or costume packs. The Moogle Lover, Divine War, and something else. $4 each or $10 for all three.
Yeah, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'll get Square Enix.
Yeah. Then we also have the 2013 back to 2013 sale going on in PSN right now, which I'll show you guys that. Quite a bit of stuff going on sale. A couple things I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. I don't know. We'll go through everything though. We've got Diablo 3, $36. Injustice sitting at $24.49 for the Ultimate Edition, $14.69 for the Vita. So PS3 and PS4 is $25. Vita's $10 cheaper. The Wolf Among Us Season Pass, if you still haven't picked that up, $8.99 on the PS3. Definitely worth purchasing. We also have the Walking Dead Season Passes on here as well, which now would be a great time to buy that because we've got episode 2 coming. Where is it at? 10.49. So I'm glad I held out on that Season Pass. I haven't picked that one up yet.
You're doing the right thing, man, because I kicked out a total of $40 for both of them. I guess combined 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dog it.
Yeah. I knew when the Wolf Among Us Season Pass went on sale recently, I figured Walking Dead Season Pass would come out eventually on sale. Ni no Kuni, $6.99.
What a great game. Everyone,
I know. It's fantastic.
Please buy that for $6. It was my favorite JRPG last year. Beautiful music. It feels like you're playing something at 5 years old with all the dexterity of a 40-year-old guy. It's just awesome. It made me feel like a kid again, right?
Yeah. You really have to get into that mindset to get into the game though, because if you're looking for it to be like a serious RPG and you start playing it, the beginning's gonna turn you off immediately. So you really have to just like let the game take its course and just go with it and get through the first couple hours or so. Yeah.
Pro tip, everyone. Buy the Leap upgrade so you can skip. Just thought it was awesome. Skip, everyone. Ni no Kuni. Amazing.
Great game. I heard they might be doing a sequel for it too. Because apparently, yeah.
Let me tell you something. There was only one time in my life where I did cartwheels around the 495 Beltway, and that was when the Redskins rehired Joe Gibbs. If there's a Ni no Kuni 2, I will do cartwheels around 495. Thought everybody should know that.
Yeah. Rayman Legends, $29.39. Terraria, I have no idea how much it is because it says I've already purchased it, so I can't tell you. Guacamelee, I think this one was $7.34. My favorite game of last year. So good. I was actually watching somebody live stream it a couple days ago in this on Twitch, and it was kind of was very interesting having played it and watching someone else play it and struggle through the platforming. So I helped them out a little bit throughout their stream. I had a lot of fun watching somebody play. Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time, on PS Vita. For some reason, the PS3 version's not here. We also have Spelunky, Dragon's Crown 1749, another very, very good game. Tales of Xillia, another good RPG, $14.99. Persona
Pick
2.
it up if you haven't played it.
Yeah. And
Yes, listen to my guy.
so
Don't listen to me.
So, Trophy Chasers podcast recommendations: Tales of Xillia, Dragon's Crown, Guacamelee, Ni no Kuni, and The Walking Dead Season Pass and The Wolf Among Us Season Pass. Those are the highlights of this sale. So,
There's also the Vita 2-year anniversary sale and the Ubisoft sale going on.
I just noticed I showed the wrong scene. So, yeah, sorry about that. Wrong button. Anyway. All right. So let's get into what we've been playing. Do you want to do trophy stats first, or do you want to do what we've been playing first?
I don't know, man. I guess what we've been playing. Well, I tell you what, let's do that first.
Okay.
Because
Can I start?
want to
I want to start.
Thief.
Okay.
Oh, you start. Go ahead.
We have to talk about Magus. So, I don't know if you remember, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I announced or talked about the announcement of this game, and from what I read from the article, it sounded pretty intriguing. You're some guy who woke up in a dungeon, didn't really know what was going on, and you, for some reason, this lady keeps calling you a god, and you have these magic powers. So the game comes out. First off, I forgot about it because it got shadowed by Castlevania and Thief. So I completely forgot about it. About 9 or 10 o'clock on the 25th, I was like, oh yeah, Magus came out. Let's go check that out. Get on the PSN store, look at the screenshots for the game, and it looks horrendous. I have not seen it. It looks like it's running on PS2, and that theme stays throughout the entire game. It looks like a PS2 game. The voice acting is terrible. The story, there are so many plot holes in the story. I don't even know. It was bad. Graphics were horrible. The character design, also terrible. Just so many bad things, but the game was fantastic. As far as the gameplay, very fluid, very fine-tuned. It's like they focused on the gameplay. Screw everything else. As long as we got the gameplay down, it'll be okay. This game does have a trophy list, has a platinum trophy. It's very, very, very easy, very doable. While I was streaming the game, I tried to die. Someone in the stream wanted to see how bad the load screen was, or the death screen, because we hadn't seen it yet. It was actually very hard for me to die, so keep that in mind. If you're looking for an easy platinum, this is it. It takes like 5-6 hours, and it's somewhat enjoyable. One of my favorite parts was the very first level. We got to the end of the level, and we were just about to go into the boss fight, and the game pauses and brings up this little tutorial message. It says, "Warning, you are now about to fight a boss. This enemy has much more health than the other enemies in the room, so be sure to take out the others and leave him for last." So, I don't know. It's like a third-person shooter, a third-person medieval shooter. It's a very strange game, but worst game of the year contender. This is the Sharknado of video games, I think is the best way to put it. Just a horrible movie that is fantastic for some reason. This is by far the Sharknado of video games.
Man, I'm offended, man, and how dare you put that game up as the worst game of the year when they have evil unicorns?
Oh, that's right, and the unicorns. Yeah, so each level you go through.
By the way, so
Sorry.
inside baseball here. So Flip sends a text out at 7:30 in the morning. Jump on Twitch. I'm fighting evil unicorns or something like that. Immediately jumped on, and here he is. Just got finished fighting evil unicorns, and I'm watching this horrific person run around with this half Spider-Man, half dog look-like costume, and I realized that this was the greatest thing I was seeing, and for 45 minutes I was captured. I didn't want to have to leave, but I had to take my daughter to school. What a freaking awesome game, right? And I got to see the end,
Yeah.
and I got to see evil unicorns.
Yeah.
Just
So so there's like five. There's a total of 6 levels. Each level has a different theme, and one of them, or each of the themes has a different enemy type. One of the enemy types are like unicorns that walk on 2 legs. They're super skinny, and they're miners. They're like enslaved mining unicorns that you have to fight. I don't know. It's a very hard game to rate because I actually enjoyed it throughout the entire game. The gameplay was great, but everything else was really bad. So it should get like a 4 out of 5, or a 4 or a 5 out of 10. But I had so much fun. I actually really enjoyed the game and liked
I
finishing
agree
it
with
off.
that, man.
So it's a hard game to rate. I don't know what score I'd give it. I've been thinking about this ever since I finished it. I have no idea.
But you know what? You can enjoy a 5 game. There's nothing wrong with that. I think shoot, I haven't enjoyed games that I would grade higher because it just wasn't fun to me. There's been great games that I just wasn't compelled to finish. So yeah, that's a funky thing to think about, really. Catherine, I didn't want to finish it. Great freaking game. Um, but Magus, horrible game, but incredibly fun. At least to watch it was, right?
Apparently, it was my most popular live stream I've ever done. Also, we had 600 people watch throughout the night. Quite an interesting game. So, aside from that, I played a little bit more Rayman Legends, which is unplatinumable on the PS4 due to the.
Oh no.
Guess what it is? It's the social trophies, just like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
You have to do
the bane of all of our
yeah.
trophy chasers' existence. But go ahead.
Yes, you have to do daily challenges, and you have to beat your friend's score in a challenge once and 30 times. The problem is it bases your score against your friend's ghost score, and the friend's ghosts aren't uploading to the server, so you can't race the ghost. So there's no way to get these trophies. Apparently they had the same problem on PS3 and Xbox 360. It took a couple months before it got ironed out. So maybe in the future we'll be able to get it. But right now you can't platinum that game, which is very frustrating because I really liked it. I've beat the whole game. Yeah. Got like 80% of all the collectibles. Like completed the first world, completed the last world, like 100%. I just have like a few miscellaneous things in the middle to do. But I really like that.
Huh.
Did you either of you play Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I played the first one. I haven't beat the first one, but of course I know what happens at the end.
Right.
But no, I haven't played the demo.
Okay. I'll keep it short.
I've been consumed, man. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll keep it short because I know you guys want to talk about Thief and Tales, and we just went on for forever with Magus. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. If you've played Castlevania Lords of Shadow, this game is completely different. This is way more along the lines of your traditional Metroidvania game. It's open world, 3D. It's not just level by level. You actually have to find the levels, and there's various side quests and stuff. Very, very good. The combat's great. The only problem that I have with the game is there are various stealth sections which don't really make sense. They're not. Yeah, they're not very frequent. They're pretty short. They don't last very long, and you handle them basically like small puzzles throughout the game, but they just don't fit in the game at all. And it'd be so much better without them. Every time I get to one, it just feels tedious. Basically, you have to possess various guards at certain times and get them to manipulate switches. Sometimes you need to turn yourself into a rat and sneak past them. I don't know. But other than that, I really like the combat. The upgrade system is pretty different. It actually forces you to use your combos, which I thought was interesting. Like as you level up, you get experience to unlock your various abilities. And then the more that you use the ability, you unlock what's called mastery for that ability. Once you use it enough, you get points to upgrade your weapon as a whole rather than just that ability. And for the trophies, you have to master every single ability. So it really forces you to not just get the upgrades. Like a game like Devil May Cry, where you just have loads of combos and you don't really use any of them. This one actually like forces you to use them. At first, I hated it, and then I started to like it quite a bit. So much better than the first game. I'm probably 3/4 of the way through it right now. Pretty good, very solid game. I like it quite a bit. So very interesting story so far too. So
Awesome.
let's hear about Tails. I've been curious about this one for a long time. How's Tails going? My guy?
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna let DMC go because I know he wanted to
no,
talk about Thief and defend Thief's honor. So
go ahead, man. I'll defend Thief's honor after I hear about Tails.
oh, you go ahead, man. You know what they say: save the best to last. So
Thank you. That. Hey, so here's the kicker, guys. So I've been playing Little Deviants on the PS Vita. Hadn't had a chance to upload my trophies yet because my Vita ran out of batteries and I left my charger in the car. But horribly frustrating game. I don't know if I'm going to plat it, but I probably have about 15 more hours to go on it. It's supposed to be platable in 15 hours, but I'm halfway through. Again, this is your type of game, Flip. It's one of those Twitch games, but it's incredibly frustrating and funky. The
What's it
controls are
called?
horrible. Little Deviant. It came out as a launch game for the Vita. Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
Tokenin still playing Age of Demons. Beautiful. Love that game so much. It's going to take me 10 years to get the plat on that. It's incredibly grindy. We talked about that last week. Final Fantasy 14, we talked about that. And then Thief, right? So here's the kicker, guys. Thief has got mixed reviews across the board. I think there's just a handful of folks who gave that thing A+, 9 reviews. But a large majority of folks averaged around 6 and 7. And they and their comments range between controls, the stealthy feel not being plausible, in a nutshell, story being convoluted. There's only one way to play this game, and that's in custom difficulty at Master Thief level, where you cannot kill and you cannot knock out anybody, and if you get spotted, the game's over. And that's the path that I took initially, primarily because I wanted to get all the hard trophies out the way in my pursuit for the platinum. Loved the freaking game all the way through it. The immersion, the feel, that when you play that game as if you are Garrett, as if you are a thief, and you cannot be spotted, it becomes real to you in every aspect of the way. Now, it's not without its faults, right? I mean, there are issues when you knock out someone, or someone, and I realized this in my second playthrough, because I couldn't knock out one in the first playthrough. When you knock out somebody, that person stays knocked out indefinitely until you actually leave that area and then return. So not Metal Gear Solid, right? Folks don't wake up after time, and also there are difficulty spikes when you're playing on Master Thief level. That's problematic, not to the degree of Rambo or Brave, but still that's problematic. I don't want to take up too much of my guy's time, but highly recommend Thief. Highly recommend it. I'm going to write a review for it. We'll talk about a website where you guys can be able to download the podcast next week. But yeah, and I'll field all questions about Thief. Awesome freaking game.
What's your score on it? I just finished the third mission.
The third mission, yeah. Right now, it's a haven't beat it, and I feel almost liberated as if I'm Superman, right? Haven't beat it on all the hardest difficulties and knocked out all of those crazy difficulty trophies, and I'm now just free running everything. I think it's an 8.5.
Okay.
A solid 8.5. It's a beautiful game, very beautiful. The animations. The character is absolutely wonderful. Now, textures on the humans.
Right, that's what I was going to say. The environmental details looks great, but the characters look really bad.
Yeah, human textures are hair is essentially plaster on everybody's head, but clothed and environment, it's really a truly beautiful next gen game. 8.5 across the board. I don't even think the story was that convoluted at all. I think you followed it. I think what happens with reviewers is they're in such a rush to get the game done in the fastest way possible on the easiest difficulty possible so they can finish their review at release, right? That they miss the point of the game itself. And it's not a game that you run through on easy. It's not a game where you run around and bop people upside the head to get from point A to point B. And I'm absolutely confident 95% of all the reviewers did that.
Yeah, I'm playing it the same way you did. Hardest difficulty, can't get spotted, can't take damage, can't use the focus, and can't kill anybody, can't knock anybody out. I enjoy the gameplay a lot. I don't know how I feel about the swoop mechanic that lets you just like dive from shadow to shadow. I think that makes things too easy. I don't like that at all. Was that in the original Thief?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And I played the original Thief many, many years ago, so I don't remember. I still have it on my PC.
Yeah. Because I
think I still have the disc. Go ahead.
One of my other stipulations or difficulty modifiers was I had slower movement as well, which actually
I avoided that.
Oh, that one actually helps because like when you're trying to go past the animals, you're forced to walk really slow. But that swoop still goes at the same rate that I'd imagine to go in the regular game. I feel like it's way too fast, and you can just exploit it, constantly spam it. It should have some sort of cooldown or something. I don't like.
Well, it does. If you hit it 4 or 5 times, your
4 or 5 times.
Heart will pop up.
Oh, is that what that heart means?
You can't do it 4 times. Yeah, 4 or 5 times. Your heart comes up with a lightning bolt through it, as if you're going to have a heart attack and die if you don't stop. So
I've seen that icon, but I never thought anything of it. I didn't know what it meant. I feel like Flip really wanted to kill some people in Thief. Yes, there were a couple checkpoints where I got very frustrated. He's like, you know what? We're just killing somebody. I cannot wait to go back on easy. I'm just killing every single guard because I'm terrible at stealth games. I can't do it.
You're going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. When you play that thing on easy... Oh, by the way, let me get this one point. And you have to remember this, Flip. And anybody else who are playing Thief, knocking out the hardest difficulties first. In Chapter 7, before you go into Chapter 7, load up as much as you possibly can on your water-based arrows. That's all I want to say. I didn't do that. I went in there with 3 arrows, and I almost literally threw Thief out the window, because I couldn't get past a certain level. So pro tip, everybody, before you go into Chapter 7, again, load up on your water-based arrows.
No, I wanted to ask you, where do you get the wrench? Because is that something you have to do on a side quest? Because I keep seeing environmental things.
It's after it's after your second or third I guess chapter. You go back to your there's this little guy. He's sitting there with a 1970 trench coat and 1970s Dob hat. Totally doesn't fit the environment that they're in, but he sits right outside of Basso's little underground little shop. And so he'll whisper to you, "Psst, I got all the things you need for your nefarious activities," or whatever he says, right? And you can buy the wrench from him. You can also buy a razor blade too, which you're going to need to cut out paintings and such.
Okay. Yeah. So I like the gameplay. I just don't like the swoop. I'm having really weird audio issues. Whenever I'm watching a cutscene, the voices don't match up with the animations, and the subtitles at the bottom don't match up with the scene. Those are like 15 seconds early. It's really weird.
There's frame rate issues. And so here's the kicker, right? Is it a perfect game? And these are spot on points that you're making, because I experienced the same thing and I actually made notes about them. They exist. Do they detract incredibly from the experience? And so from my perspective, I wouldn't hit it as hard as I might do other games, right? So, but yeah, that's something to be noted as well.
Yeah. So I enjoy it. Like I said, I'm really bad at stealth. The last stealth game I played was Deus Ex Human Revolution. I did the pacifist run on that where you couldn't kill anybody. Enjoyed it, got through it, but it was hard for me. For some reason, I'm just naturally want to go through things fast, and I'm really bad at stopping and waiting and watching patrol paths. I like just my quick platformers.
All of us, I love that all of us, place we have this cross section where we play these games, but yet we have such different opinions about the games we play. I love Deus Ex, loved it, and it's something about these stealth games that just make me feel like I'm just super badass, and you better watch out for me, So anyway, go ahead, man. That was one of my favorite platinums, by the way.
Oh, was it? But... Now you've been quiet, my guy.
Oh, I haven't played Thief, so like all I've got to go on is a review. So I'm not gonna like
Are you gonna play
chime
it?
in and comment. Like, um, in the bargain bin, I'll probably pick it up.
It'll be
Like
there soon, probably.
if I would, yeah, if I would have seen like some outstanding reviews for it, then I probably would have tried to scrape some things together to pick it up. But with the reviews that came out for it and a game I was on the fence of to begin with, you know, pushed it off to like the dollar, the bargain bin. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, trust me
I'll
on this
wait till
one.
then.
Reviewers got it wrong on this, man. Like, but yeah, pick it up from the bargain bin, and enjoy it, man.
And
Enjoy
and
the.
I'm and I'm not saying that's not the case, but like from my point of view, a game that I'm on the fence about, that like I don't care one way or another on personally. If I see that the reviews are leaning one way, then it lessens my desire to pick it up and jump right into it, where I can say, okay, well, I'm just going to wait on it till it's at a price I want to pay for it.
Hey, so let me just say this real quick. So, and please forgive me, Saracena, if I screwed up your name. But so for all those listening on the podcast, he says, or she, wait, you're giving a flawed game with bugs an 8.5, 10.10, 10 out of 10 is a perfect score. What kind of things only the best out of the best game should get. With flaws like that, it should be a 6 at the most, right? And so, um, I think what happens with most reviews is that they overemphasize certain flaws. There's a single game that comes out, and I'm talking about high budget, high production value games that don't have issues. Grand Theft Auto, uh, many issues. There hasn't been a Fallout game or any game that Bethesda has ever released that didn't have egregious issues, but yet those games always get 10 out of 10. And so I think what we all have to keep in mind when we listen to reviewer scores, whether it's mine or anybody else's, and Flips, my guys, is that it's always coming from perspective, and it's really what's the weight that we put on the issues, and are the issues detracting from the actual gameplay mechanics, play style, and or story presentation. And sometimes that's our opinion, but in my case, those little small issues don't detract enough for me to take away from the overall presentation of the game.
The way I've always said it in any reviews I've ever talked about, if the game has bugs, but the game's still playable, I'm okay with it. But there's various bugs where it causes the game to freeze. You lose your save file. It kicks you out of the game.
Yeah.
Weird things like that. Those are the bugs and the issues that bother me. Those I won't excuse. But if it's just something small, or something like the audio isn't synced, it's frustrating. I'm gonna drop the score down a little bit for it. But if I'm still really enjoying the game, I still feel like it deserves a higher score. Because a review, it's not really what you think it should get as a whole. It like what everybody should give it. Your review is your personal opinion, what you thought of the game, how much you enjoyed it, what you personally think it deserves on a scale of 1 to 10. And I think too many people look at all these reviews and they keep thinking, or they keep seeing all these numbers, and they think that a game should be like, reviews should be synonymous among each other, and that's not really the way I see it. I think all the reviews should be handled on a case to case, person to person basis.
Yep. So I agree with you 100%. One of the things, folks, next week launching reviewtruth.com, and one of the things that we're trying to implement with that particular site from a review perspective is an approach that has a heavily scientific base, where we try to take the opinion out of it as best possible. But to Flip's point, it's almost impossible to do that, right? All of us have opinions, and that's what we infuse into the game review. But yeah, it's great points, Flip, and I look forward to doing that. Review conversation is big talk, because I think Thief pushed the button for me, and it did the same thing. I felt this way with Knack as well. I thought Knack got incredibly crushed because it was being judged outside of what it was trying to be. And I know that you had issues with it, Flip. I absolutely know that, and those issues were more from a mechanic, technical perspective. But yeah, so looking forward to giving people a thumbs down on their bad reviews on Thief, right? I still think Thief is pretty awesome.
Yeah. like anytime I've tried to do reviews, I try to keep my review as personal as I can, so people who like the same kind of games that I like can listen to my review and be able to judge whether or not they like the game based on how well they know me and my play style and my likes and dislikes in games, which I think that's how reviews should be handled, which I think is opposite of what you just said, but that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, so you have all this built-up Tales love. I don't want you to explode, Mike Guy, but please tell us about Tales of Symphonia.
Well, to first start out here, I've got to give MC Pants and Lemonitsu, who goes by Lego Guy on PSN. I got to give them their props because they helped me finally get the plat in Minecraft. So I appreciate that, guys. I told you guys I would give you a shout out tonight. I've been playing some Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate on the Vita, and I have to say that it's the combat mechanics in that, in my opinion, just blow Arkham Origins out of the water because I just felt like Arkham Origins, the actual PS3 game, they took steps back with the combat, and I feel this Vita game, for what it is, has done a much better job implementing that combat style on a smaller scale, and I think they did an outstanding job with that. I'm not very far into it at the moment, but I've played it for probably about 2 or 3 hours or so. But so far, I'm definitely enjoying the Arkham Origins on the Vita. Probably more so than I enjoyed it on the PS3. Now, for Tales of Symphonia, I'm going to point out two things that are a little off, and I'll explain why one of them's the case, and like the and in a second here. The first, the camera of the world map can be a little wonky at times, getting the right angle that you want, but it's kind of done that on purpose in a sense. When you play the game, you'll kind of see that. But another thing is that because of the animation of the characters, them being upgraded into high definition, it looks a little weird when the camera shows their mouth moving as they're talking. But considering the fact this was a game released in 2004, it has the animation style of the characters is nowhere near what it is in Tales of Graces, Tales of Vesparia, and Tales of Exalia. So, like, I take that into consideration, and like, those are the only two things that that cause any kind of annoyance. One, you understand; the other, it's, I kind of wish they would have done a little bit better job on the fixing the camera and the world map. And it's been a little over a year since I played the GameCube version, so I'm pretty sure the GameCube version had this similar problem with the camera. But overall, it's a game that's 10 years old. It looks good with the HD coat of paint on it, and I haven't started Dawn of a New World yet. I'm gonna beat Symphonia first and play its sequel, but I love it. I'm a very biased Tales of fan with the JRPGs. I've got all of them that have been released in North America, going back to the PlayStation 2 era. I even have the PSP one, but and I have Vesparia in Japanese for my PS3, and supposedly there's some people that have been working on a patch for the game that translates in game the stuff into the dialogue into English.
That'd be cool.
But yes, and from what it looked like, they're pretty close to being done with it. But as far as it goes, if you're a big fan of the Tales series, you enjoyed good solid JRPGs, this was a Tales game that was the most successful Symphonia when it originally released on the GameCube. It's a fantastic game, very enjoyable. I haven't spent as much time with Dawn of the New World, so I really don't want to get into a lot of that now, but like, for me, it's a Tales game. I love them because of the name of the franchise. But if you like JRPGs, I recommend picking it up. Uh, like Nino Kuni, you guys talking about. I think Nino Kuni is a fantastic game. I haven't been able to get hooked into it like I want to, but that doesn't take away my love and appreciation for it. But this is definitely something I recommend checking out, and I really feel Bandai Namco as a company is your go-to for good old-fashioned JRPGs. If you know that's something that you really like.
Yeah, I want to check it out eventually, but I've got so much on my plate right now. But I watched some
So,
gameplay of it. It actually looks pretty good.
For the age of the game, and normally Tell's games are a little dated when we get them. Like they did a really good job with the HD upgrade on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look old at all.
For the style of it is.
Mike, is it the only question that's important when we talk about Tell's games and reboots that come back and presented to us in current gen or last gen graphics is, do they have Japanese voiceovers?
See, that doesn't matter to me.
No. I'm just asking the question, man.
I could care less about that.
It's simple.
This one does give you the option to use Japanese voices in it.
Oh, did you say it does?
Yes.
Then I'm getting it. I'm
it-
getting it, man.
It,
That's
it
awesome.
Why?
allows for like some minor customizations. Another nice thing about it is that like I kind of like that it kind of gives an ode to people that have been playing the prior Tales games. When you boot it up, it notices, oh, you've played Tales of Graces, you've played Tales of Exalia, you've got those save files. It gives you additional costume sets going back all the way to Tales of the Abyss for the different characters. So the costumes run from Tales of the Abyss to Exalia 2, which comes out this summer, and it's neat be able to switch the costume and see these characters in the different costumes from future Tales games in the series.
That's awesome, man. I actually might pick that up now. Dun 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 dun. Japanese voiceovers.
Why is that so appealing to you?
So what now?
Why is the Japanese voiceover so appealing to you?
You know what? Here's the reason why, and I have been trained to accept it primarily because of all the anime that I've watched over the years.
Okay.
And it just always sounds funny to me to hear English voiceovers, and I'm a little prejudiced because it makes me feel like I'm not hearing the emotions come through the way they should, and I know it's false, but I can't retrain myself.
That's fair.
So I have a preference.
I agree on that with some voice actors, but like one of my like personal favorite voice actors, John Hyung Bosch, and if you remember that name, he was the second Black Power Ranger. He does a lot of video game voiceovers, a lot of anime voiceovers. He's Ichigo in Bleach, Vash Stampede, and Trigun, and he's done the English voiceovers and Persona 5 Golden as Adachi. He's done it in the Tales games. I think he does a fantastic job. And there's guys like him that are slam dunk every time out, in my opinion. And then there's other guys that don't, that aren't as good. So like I can see where DMC's coming from with feeling that you're left on the emotions. Personally, I like Goku sounding a little bit more masculine than him sounding feminine. Granted, it took me forever to figure out Frieza was the guy in the English adaptation.
All right. So for upcoming releases next week. So we covered everything that came out this week. I think we covered it all pretty extensive detail. So you should have a pretty good idea of whether or not you would be interested in any of those games. Next week we've got South Park and the PS3, which I'm pretty sure all three of us are playing. We're all pretty excited about that, right? We're all gonna be playing that.
Walking Dead, I will, and
South Park. Are you guys playing South Park?
I'm getting South Park. Yeah. Matter of fact, so Thief will hopefully be platted within the next 3 days, and I can't wait to play South Park. I looked at that trailer. It was like a 10-minute gameplay. I think it goes over the first one, and there's this comment or portion where the new guy comes in and he says, "What's your name?" And you tell the guy his name, and Cartman calls him douchebag. And there's this dialogue. It's just so funny, man. I just can't wait to play it. I just hope it's absolutely freaking ridiculous, just like the show.
Yeah, it looks very good. Looks like your traditional JRPG with a little bit of twist. It reminds me a lot of Super Mario RPG if you ever played that, where you have to like press the button at the right time to get the crit or defend.
Huh.
Then we also have Dead Nation on the PS4 and Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2 on the PS3. So that wraps up the show for this week. We got a few listener questions I wanted to go through that were submitted on Twitter. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I remember having issues last week. I thought maybe you couldn't. Half Man, Half Biscuit asked, what, if any, game title has showcased the next-gen PS4 to its full potential so far? I feel like the PS4 hasn't really gotten that far. We're still pretty early in the cycle, but I think Killzone, to me, is what showed it off the best. I think that's the best looking game that we have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there is not a game in existence that displays the level of detail and assets across the board that Killzone does. And if only the freaking direction and storyline could be just as good, that would be the greatest game in the world.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out of release right now. Assassin's Creed 4. It's like I didn't play it on the PS3. I just think it looked visually beautiful. There was no like load, no real long load times between going from section to section, and just going out on the sailing across the Caribbean Sea, having the water come over, the top of your ship as you're just sailing along. I just thought it was fantastic looking. Granted, when Infamous comes out next month, I would say Infamous would be that. Infamous and Ground Zeroes will be the current standard bearer once they come out.
Oh boy, Ground Zero. Yeah, I don't think. Boy, every time a Metal Gear game comes out, it always sets the standard. Yeah, thanks for raising my expectations, my guy. I wasn't even thinking about that.
I'm always thinking Metal Gear.
Right. Love it. I'm still
I feel like that's going to
in the
happen
process.
throughout the entire year. Every time we get a new cycle of games, I think it's going to continue to raise the standard, at least for this year.
You're so right, and Flip, you're so right, and if everyone keeps in mind, we didn't really begin to see the crazy graphical power of the PS3 until about year 6.
Yeah.
And I know that Sony says that their cycle's always been right at 6 years. We get the brand new console. But if that trajectory continues, then my goodness, what in the world are games going to look like 3 years from now?
It's going to be good. I can't wait to find out. I got another question submitted on Twitter from JuniorGong71. Says, after all the problems with trying to record the PS4 using my HD PVR or Elgato, when will Sony remove the HDCP? And as far as I've known, they don't have any plans to do it. I know the Xbox One doesn't have the HDCP. Basically, if you don't know what that is, if you're trying to live stream or record any footage from your PS4, it doesn't let you do it. There's what's called, I don't remember what HDCP stands for off the top of my head. It's something that blocks the HDMI signal. In order to bypass that, the way I'm able to record my PS4 footage is you have to buy an HDMI splitter. It is a 1x2 splitter. The cheapest one I found, and it works just as good as anything else, is this Sewell. Found it on Amazon for like $19. So it's a pretty cheap solution, and then all your capture cards will work. Other than that, it's just using the Twitch live stream app, which quality's kind of isn't always the best, but it's functional.
Yeah, I thought Yoshida, whatever. Somebody correct me on his name real quick.
Shuhei Yoshida.
Yoshida. He mentioned a while back, a couple of weeks before the release of the PS4, that he's listening and that they'll have a solution at some point. So hopefully things will look up around that. I mean, it was a big deal with the PS3, and it's part of the reason why a lot of reviewers played their games on the Xbox 360, because Sony just made you jump through hoops
Right.
to record the video.
That was only through HDMI though. The PS3 had the component output as well, which is what I used for the PS3 until I got the splitter. But I don't feel like a $20 solution is really a big deal. I don't know. It's never bothered me. Once I figured out that was an option, I was okay with it. So yeah, we could do some giveaways. We've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, Thief, and some Castlevania posters. Also, if you guys would like, you're more than welcome to call in if you have any other questions that you'd like to ask or submit, or just random games you'd like to talk about. If we talked about anything that you want to talk about in more detail, feel free to call in. 302 TCP show is the number. We'll be more than happy to take your calls. It's always one of my favorite parts of the show. So
If you're gonna say play CSI,
All right, so yes, I would like to know how to earn a platinum in 2 hours, because I already know how to earn a platinum in 6 hours, and that's by playing CSI.
So I think the way I want to do the giveaway, why you guys talk about that? I'm gonna roll the dice. Everyone who's in chat right now is qualified for the giveaway, and whatever name comes up first will get first grabs at whatever prize they want, and we'll just keep going until we're done. I think that sounds fair.
yeah, I don't think I could do the Hannah Montana game.
Rolling the dice time.
If it were a comic book based video game and bad, I would probably still play it, but just because it's a comic book based game, but not a Hannah Montana game.
I am Justin. How's it
The
going?
Titanfall
Congratulations.
bundle, the price drop.
You got a winner.
Got the first winner. So lottery time. You got first grabs. You could either take a copy of Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, copy of Thief off of the PS4, or we've got if you already have Castlevania, we've got Castlevania posters if you don't want a game. So it's up to you.
Faith, to answer your question, Faith, I think it's showing that just kind of how much Microsoft is kind of, or is betting on the Titanfall horse to do what they need. Because if you look at the newest sales figures dropped by Video Game Charts, I think the Xbox One only sold it's sold just under 60,000 in the U.S. And granted, if you take away the launch of the PS4 in Japan, Sony still, the Xbox One sales were worldwide under 60,000. The PS4 still did about 130,000 worldwide, and I don't know about you, but I'm finding Xbox Ones on my store shelves when I go to Walmart and Target, where I don't see PlayStation 4, and with PlayStation 4 still be able to beat it when there's a shortage. Sony's held some stock back for the Japanese launch of it. I just think it's kind of a thing where Microsoft is trying to sweeten the pie with Titanfall by lowering the price in Europe, by including the game for free with an Xbox One in the U.S. And if you look at GameStop's interest chart or pre-order, they're what I refer to as their fake infamous Second Son bundle, which is just Infamous Second Son, PS4, an extra controller, and a year of PS Plus thrown together at retail price, is the number one interest.
I'm gonna interrupt you for a second
because
because I'm trying to get this taken care of. So, just
the
sorry.
Titanfall bundle is number 12.
Hold tight 1 second for me, Mike.
Okay. Justin, if you want one of the prizes, just let me know which one you want. I'll send you a private message on Twitch to ask for your address, and then I'll get it shipped off to you. That's how it works. The only stipulation is it'll probably be shipped off next week sometime. Because I need to finish Castlevania before I ship my copy off, and then DMC is going to finish Thief, which he's getting pretty close to, before he finishes that off.
It could, and I think that's what Microsoft is hoping for, and that's why they're trying to pump that up. And they're, I think if by including Titanfall in the thing, it's either they're willing to take that hit, or they don't think Titanfall is going to move the consoles that originally thought it did. I think it's going to sell units. I'm interested to see come the end of March what the sales numbers are like for the consoles and for the games. But I think Microsoft didn't think they were going to be in this position, even after the reversal.
Well, if we wait till tomorrow, you'll probably be last choice for what everybody else doesn't want. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, how about this?
Oh, sorry, what?
If he says he's not an adult, so what about knack? You wanna do you already have knack?
I think he's more concerned about the address thing. I don't know. I've never even really thought about this. I've never ran into this issue.
Yeah, I know. Same thing. I was like, uh-oh.
No problem, Faith. Again, that's my opinion on the situation, and I kind of started a fire. No problem. So I kind of started a fire on a Facebook group by saying that depending on how Titanfall does for Xbox One, it might push those Xbox brand sales rumors of Microsoft up the charts, where we start hearing them a little bit more.
All right, so for folks on the podcast, what we typically do at the end of the show is we answer questions that appear on chat. So forgive us if the conversation is a little blocky and choppy.
They should be able to see the chat in the video. If they're watching it on YouTube.
With the address.
I guess if they're listening to it, the audio version, they wouldn't be able to. Anyway, PF Blackhawk.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool then.
Yeah, PF Blackhawk. Looks like you're the new winner. Would you like a copy of Thief, Castlevania, or a poster? Assuming you have a PS3 or a PS4.
PF Blackhawk, congratulations.
You've got another minute to respond. We'll go to 2 minutes, and then we'll roll again.
I'm trying to keep an eye out for questions to answer them if anybody has them. No Flips engaged in the giveaway, so.
I just want to give away free stuff. Someone take my games.
PF Blackhawk, you just won a new car.
Come on down to The Price is Right.
It's always weird when it's hard to give these things away.
If you can guess the actual retail value, you might get into the Showcase Showdown.
Okay. Awesome. PF Blackhawk has just responded and he wants Thief.
Saracena wants poster. Or she went. Well, they win.
All right.
Teabagging, you finally won a contest. How do you feel about a copy of Castlevania? He was talking to me about Thief in the chat. He said when I finish it, I should send it his way.
Who's whose Thief is this? This is my Thief, right?
Yes.
Right, Flip?
Yes.
Right,
I didn't buy Thief, so I don't have a copy of it.
Oh, I thought you did buy Thief.
I have Thief. I didn't buy it.
Oh, well.
I got it from GameFly. I bought Castlevania and didn't feel like I needed to buy two of them, and GameFly shipped it.
All right, that's why I stopped myself, because see the kind of first part of the name there. So sorry about that, man.
Well, congratulations, Blackhawk. Give me Blackhawk just one Thief. Like I said, I should have the plat done in the next 3 or 4 days, and as soon as that's done, I'll ship it off to you. You're probably gonna just keep in contact with Flip, and he'll or shoot me a PSN message,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll give you an update.
And so that way, if there's any kind of Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction, we can stop the show in time.
Teabagging, you've got 30 seconds to let me know if you want anything before I roll again. There's a 40-second delay.
Yeah.
I don't think he's here. You bought the PS3 version of The Walking Dead on the PlayStation Store, and it downloaded the Vita version? You're talking about Season 1? That would be really frustrating. That's odd that they're not...
Oh, so MC Pants says, I'm mad that I bought the PS3 version of The Walking Dead off the PS Store, and it downloaded the Vita version, and Sony did nothing.
Now, do you have a Vita?
You know what? Just call.
Yeah, just call customer service.
Sony.
And if they...
Yeah, they're really good.
Most of the time. Occasionally you get the person that doesn't want to help,
Okay.
and then you just hang up and call back. I've done that, and
Yeah.
sometimes I've had to call like 3 or 4 times, but I've
What you also
always gotten
do,
my issue fixed.
Yeah, and what you also do, MC Pants 26, whenever you have issues, is raise the phone up in the air with your left hand, and then with your right hand, shake your fist and scream, "I demand satisfaction." And typically, that's gonna win the war for you.
Is that how it
But
works?
Sony should help out.
The only time I've had something like that happen is I bought a comic off Comixology, and I swear it wasn't the one I wound up in my cart that I purchased. One that I do not believe I put in my cart. I contacted their support, told them what I wanted to buy, what wound up in my cart, and they took care of it like within like 2 hours. So that's the only time I've had something like that happen, but that would kind of suck if Sony's being unresponsive as far as that goes.
There you are. Yes, Coyote.
Yay, Cody.
You got a copy of Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 for the PS3 if you're interested. Otherwise, I've got Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 poster.
Poster our game. The $1 million question.
Poster's still in the wrapping. I assume it just looks like the cover art, considering the poster's white, so it probably looks like this. Just let me know what you're interested in. Hopefully you have a PS3. You're indeed interested. Well, which one do you want? Oops.
He wants the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. It comes with the original copy of So.
Okay. I will get in touch with you, send you a message. All right. So, we've got 2 posters here. Is anybody interested in the poster? Because I don't want to go through this list if nobody wants it. And then I'll give the other one to a random YouTube commenter.
Anybody have any gaming questions while Flip's giving away some posters?
Okay, perfect. And so the final poster will be given away on the YouTube video. If you're interested in that, just leave a comment underneath the video and let me know you're interested in the giveaway, and I'll pick a random person over the course of the next week or so and contact you. So there we go. A little rocky, but we got through it. Yeah. At least we have people to give stuff away too. I don't know. I always like doing that. Help get these games out there. Give them some attention. I feel like it's better than trading it in for $20.
Ah, we have one question from Saracena with respect to have we played the original Thief games, and yes, I have played the original Thief many moons ago on a PC that I paid what had to be $2,500. It was, I remember that. It was over 12, 13 years ago. And it was awesome. I loved it. And the cobblestone was great. What's your question? Any additional questions associated with it? Unfortunately, though, I can't remember the story though at all.
How do you think the newest game compares?
Oh, okay. So yeah, so Sarah says, I don't know if you were on the chat. Yes, she was when I was talking about the. I think it does very well. Storylines are always going to progress, and it's going to be different because you have different writers and different directors. However, the feel of the game, the immersion of the game, I think is very similar. And you have to play it. I'm going to reemphasize this. Your initial playthrough has to be on some type of setting where you're not allowed to be spotted, you're not allowed to kill anybody, and preferably not knock out anyone. And it, it forces you to be cautious. And I think when you do that, you really begin to step into Garrett's shoes, and the immersion takes effect. So to answer your question, I think they marry each other very well.
You got any other questions in the comments? Anyone else have anything they want to ask?
Sorry. It's like part of my head was cut off.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Episode 6 is in the bag. I feel like that was a pretty good show. We had a lot to talk about, but finally had some games to talk about in a pretty extensive level. So I thought that was fun, getting everybody's opinion on everything. It's also very fun interacting with all you guys in the chat. I enjoyed that. So seeing what you guys thought about everything as we were going. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. What were you wanting to say, DMC?
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna say, awesome guys.
Saracena wanted that poster. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Friend us on PSN, and we'll play some Payday 2 together eventually. Thanks, Blackhawk. We appreciate that.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show here. Thank you guys all. Thank all of you for watching. Be sure to add us on PSN if you're interested in gaming with us. Eventually we'll be starting a weekly community game night. We're going to be playing Payday and probably various other multiplayer games that come out along the road. So feel free to add us.
With oven mitts on both hands, so I don't burn them.
Be sure to follow the stream if you're not already. Be notified. We're live every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, live on Twitch. If you missed the show, you can catch it on youtube.com/FlipTriqTV, and we'll have it up on iTunes very soon. So that should be an option here coming up in the near future. But I will see you all next week. Looking forward to talking about South Park. So till then, you all have a good day, good week. We'll see you next time.
Trophy chasing.
We forgot to do that. That was like
save it for next week.
No, we can't save it for next week.
To share. It's a travesty.
I'll have to.
I have a platinum this week. I need to put some shiny rims on my car. Right now, I'm running on broken flat tires.
All right. I'm glad you said something before I ended it. My guy. Last week, you're sitting at level 17, 6%, 2,726 trophies. Let's get a drum roll going. I need a drum roll sound effect. That'd be very cool. There we go. That's actually really loud. So,
oh.
Looks like you went up 13%. Actually got a platinum.
Yeah.
What was the platinum you got?
It was Minecraft, thanks to Pants and Lemonitsu.
Nice. That's
We were
a
playing some Payday 2, and they're like, "Oh, we'll hope you get those last trophies you need." So we hopped over on Minecraft and rode their minecart roller coaster. Best roller coaster I've ever rode.
yeah. Yeah, 34 trophies over the course of the week, so good job there. Congrats on the plat.
Yeah,
Awesome. It's always
three
good to see that number go up.
Yeah.
three away on lightning returns, and I will
Oh yeah.
say I lucked into that elixir trophy, and I was able to buy it. So
What?
I just so happened to run into somebody that
It's
was selling it
amazing.
and bought it.
I tried for 3 hours running in and out of spawn points to see if I can get that Final Fantasy Square Enix guy to pop up with it, and I finally just gave up and I just farmed soul seeds. Social trophies, social based trophies will be the death of all of us.
Hate it more than
Rage Against the
multiplayer
Machine.
trophies.
Yes,
Maybe
all of
for
them.
you, I had no
No,
trouble with it.
more than multiplayer
No,
trophies.
Yeah.
I'd rather have multiplayer trophies because at least we can boost them. At least we can get together and we can Minecraft that thing, right, my guy?
yeah.
Friends can help get those out the way, but social based trophies, randomly based like Final Fantasy does, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, so DMC. Last week, level 21, 96%, 60 platinums, 3,879 trophies. And over the course of the week, hey, you leveled up. Congrats on that. 3% into level 22. Still at 60 platinums, but you're very close to Thief from what I heard. I saw when you completed Thief, you only had like 19 of the trophies. I was kind of shocked that wasn't very many for that playthrough.
yeah, they're all based on collectibles, missions. Two base. I think there's four trophies that's primarily based on missions. So they chop it up very well. It becomes grindy, but because you can kill people after going through that custom difficulty, it feels good going through it. So right now I'm just taking revenge on everyone. Just get
Yeah,
out my way, right?
yeah. I'm excited for that playthrough. All right. And last week I was sitting at level 22, 6%, 50 platinums, 3,799 trophies. Remember last week I had like 99 trophies, so it's pretty cool.
So many trophies.
Uh, over the course of the week, went up 24%, so 30% into level
Wow.
22. Platinum in Magus, and 85 trophies. I was the whole week. The whole week I was chasing you. Sitting at the 3904 right now. I thought I'd catch up, but I guess I was 20 behind. I was trying hard. So there we go. I have
That's a
to.
big jump, man. That's a humongous jump.
Well, we Platinum Magus got pretty far into Castlevania. Played a lot of Rayman Legends. Got a lot of those trophies out of the way, and then a little bit of Thief. So that's what it was. But now we're really gonna end the show. I need to edit that and put that in the middle, and not have it at the end after all the giveaways and stuff. So it won't be up on YouTube immediately. It'll take a little while before I get it up there. But anyway, thank you all for watching. You all have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.